Hopefully you won't spend all your time lying on the couch because the Roborock Q Revo is vacuuming, mopping, emptying its dustbin, rinsing and drying the mop pads all at once. It's doing everything for you. The only question is, how well does it actually do all that? Is it better than the Dream L10S Ultra or worse? This time, we're not just reviewing it, we're also comparing. Twice the value, double the fun. Let's dive in right after the intro, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe before we get started. Let's start by checking what's in the box. A self-cleaning station that looks like a half garage with a long ramp. And here it is. Half garage because the robot doesn't fully fit into the dock. Only halfway. The power cord comes without the branded Velcro strap, just a regular twist tie. A spare dust bag, another one is already installed inside the station. 2 mop pads that need to be attached underneath the vacuum. A quick start guide and a full manual. The contents are pretty standard. The only thing missing is a cleaning brush for the station. Maybe it's stashed somewhere inside. I'll try to find it. For now, let's take a look at the specs. Apart from the built-in water tank, the specs are basically the same as the Roborock Q8 Max. The Q Revo refills water directly from the base, so it only needs a small 2.7-ounce reservoir. The front sensor is the same reactive tech system. This rectangular window is no match for the active camera with laser grid found on the Dream L10S Ultra. On the bumper, there's a side sensor that measures distance from the wall. On the back, charging contacts, a base locator sensor, a parking wheel, and a refill port for the tank. On the right, the dust ejection flap. On the left, the air exhaust vents. Under the lid, there's a dual-section dustbin. A washable HEPA filter sits at the back. The Dream L10S Ultra also had a nylon mesh layer there. On the sides, self-cleaning valves. The lid is matte, but still a fingerprint and dust magnet. Personally, I think the white body is way more practical. The number of physical buttons is down to just 2, home and start/pause. Spot cleaning can be selected through the app. Now the real surprise is underneath. The Q Revo is Roborock's first robot to feature mop pads. But for all the hype, the mop pads are pretty standard. Attached with Velcro, held by magnets, and lifted when carpets are detected. The fabric is just a bit darker. The mop system takes up extra space, so there was no room for a second roller brush. Instead, they used the same cleaning module as the 7 series, a single roller on a 2-suspension frame. If you swap the standard side brush with the 5-arm version, it turns into a full-on Roborock Q7 Max cleaning system. Take note, right next to the swivel wheel is a carpet detection sensor. Now let's check out how the station works. The robot backs in along the tracks on the ramp. Dust is sucked through the right side port with a rubber seal. The left port is for air intake. The station dispenses water into the grooves on the mop spinner. The pads rotate, scrubbing off dirt, and then the dirty water is sucked back in through a drain at the bottom. On the Dream L10S Ultra, only the mop hubs were removable. Here, the entire tray pulls out, which is way more convenient. Also, check out the long plastic pin, and they comb through the fibers on the pads while they spin. That's something new. I haven't seen this feature on other brands. Warm air blows from the back panel to dry the pads at the end of the cleaning cycle. Behind this glossy cover, and which seems designed to collect fingerprints, you'll find the dust bag compartment. The bag is high quality with a plastic collar instead of cardboard like Dream uses. Standard capacity at 0.7 gallons, but the water tank's massive. Each holds 1.3 gallons. That's twice the size of the tanks on the Dream L10S Ultra. The tanks are nearly identical. Both have flip-open lids and float valves to monitor water levels. One key difference: Dream's base uses a cleaning solution cartridge that auto-doses during pad washing. Roborock doesn't include a detergent cartridge. If you're really set on using detergent, you could try adding a non-foaming solution directly into the tank. But keep in mind, this might void your warranty. Another design difference: Q Revo's tanks plug straight into the base with no protective caps or lids. That means dust can collect in the handle recesses, between the tanks and along the station's edge. Not as easy to wipe clean as smooth surfaces, but definitely looks sleek. On the back, there's a cable channel for tucking away excess power cord. There are also some hidden service ports under a cover, but no ports for plumbing connections. Dream at least allows you to cut out the back wall and add an adapter kit. With Roborock, there's simply no such option. No kit exists. Overall build quality is solid, but there's still room for improvement. To control the vacuum, you need to download the Roborock app, create an account, and follow the on-screen setup. The app connects in about a minute and a half. After the first cleaning run, all the control features become available. They're now showing on screen. As you can see, there are tons of settings, so I'll just focus on the key ones. For mopping, you get fine control over water flow and 4 movement patterns. Quick clean without mapping, standard zigzags, deep clean with tighter zigzags, and deep plus a tight zigzags at reduced speed. Carpets show up on the map as weird blobs, but you can refine their shape using the editor. You can also set behavior modes. Lift the pads 0.28 inches and keep cleaning, avoid carpets entirely, or vibrate while on carpet. Admit it, this is exactly what you dreamed of. Your robot mops under the couch, then rolls onto the rug and starts spinning its pads. You can also set the robot to vacuum the carpets first, then moisten the pads and mop the rest of the floor. Or mop first, then hit the rugs. That's all for the app settings. Now for the testing. Let's see how the front sensor handles object detection. Socks, a white flower pot, and a large surprise. The Q Revo recognized them all perfectly and avoided them with barely any contact. Sneakers and a black flower pot got nudged and spun around at first, but on the second pass, the robot navigated around them cleanly. With a power strip, it reacted late. It first rolled over the cable, realized the mistake, and then avoided it. Still, it manages, but it doesn't detect phone chargers at all. It runs over them and gets them tangled in the brush. Same with bathroom scales and tiny obstacles, Mudunk. The vacuum just doesn't see them. So yeah, along with catnip, maybe keep some heart meds for the owner. Clearly, Q Revo's object recognition still needs work, then especially compared to the Dream L10S Ultra, which not only avoided obstacles but marked them on the map and even snapped photos. Navigation inside the room is nearly flawless. The robot maneuvers around curtains and avoids unnecessary moves near baseboards. The side sensor performs with precision. It cleans around table legs just fine, but doesn't detect the legs of the drying rack. Fortunately, its clearance is decent. With the mop pads on, it managed to climb a 0.8-inch threshold. Not right away, but it did it. Sure, Dream's smoother navigation is better, but the drying rack wasn't a problem for the Roborock. It crossed it easily. It's not afraid of black carpets and doesn't fall off edges either. I even tested it on a table, risking an expensive robot for my subscribers. Hope you're subscribed. If not, now's the time. Smash those buttons under the video. It cleans the apartment one room at a time, following your zone restrictions. Performance? Very impressive. On max power, it ran for over 2 hours and covered nearly 1,500 square feet. That's 30% more than the Dream L10S Ultra with the same battery capacity. Here's what it picked up around the apartment. Pet hair, human hair, crumbs, sunflower seeds, you name it. But what really surprised me was the noise level. Just 50 decibels on minimum, and only 58 on max. Binge watchers are gonna love this. At that point, we were all thinking, okay, it's quiet, so maybe the motor's weak. But then came the crevice test, and that theory got thrown out. Despite tricky navigation inside the test enclosure, the Q Revo fully cleared the 0.08-inch track, partially tackled the 0.16 and 0.24-inch, and even left dotted passes on 0.31 and some 0.39-inch grooves. It's got suction on par with the 7 Series vacuums. Much better than the Dream L10S Ultra, which only managed 0.16 inches. So the low noise isn't from a weak motor, it's thanks to excellent sound insulation. In that regard, the Roborock Q Revo might be the most efficient robot vacuum on the market right now. And with this kind of power, it clearly handles dry cleaning like a pro. Spoiler alert, yes, it picks up debris on the first pass, grabs remaining particles on the second, and scores a 98% pickup rate overall. Only some crumbs remain in corners where the robot still can't reach. The dual suspension frame keeps the main brush tight to the floor, letting it scoop up sand easily. The soft bristled side brush also handles edge debris well. So once again, corners are the only dirty spots left. Still 98%. On carpet, the Q Revo leaves more behind after the first pass compared to hard floors. But with the second pass, it circles back, hits the missed spots, and also hits that 98%. You might see a few crumbs here and there, but they don't affect the final result. The rubber brush tends to flatten medium pile carpets instead of combing through them. Still, the surface looks clean afterward. It collected 75% of debris. Overall, the Roborock Q Revo delivered top-tier dry cleaning results. It does better with sand on hard floors, but everything else is on par with the Dream L10S Ultra. And after all those tests, the roller brush still looks brand new. Only the ends have some tangled hair. Maintenance time? About 4 seconds. Let's move on to mopping. When the robot mops the floor, it follows a straight path without hugging edges, unlike the Dream L10S Ultra. Cleaning speed and effectiveness depend on the selected mode. In standard mode, the Q Revo covers about 16 square feet per minute. In deep clean mode, just 6.5 square feet. You can clearly see the difference between mop modes on these screenshots. For the test zone, I used the Deep Plus setting. Coffee stains were wiped up on the first pass and completely cleaned on the second, at least in the center of the test area. About 2.3 inches along the edges remained untouched, but without edge tracking or an extending mop like on the Dream L20, there's not much it can do. Juice stains required 2 full passes. Those were tougher. Juicy spots near the wall looked more dramatic than coffee, but the end result was still solid. The mop pads don't press very tightly against the floor, but they still manage to wipe up dirt. On the first pass, the robot gathered chunks of soil and left behind neat streaks. Given the state of the pads, that's about the best you could hope for. After a quick rinse, the Q Revo smeared some residue and basically painted the test zone beige. I had to rinse and restart, again and again. It took 8 full cycles just to get the center clean. To show you just how extreme that last test was, I filmed the tray afterward. No comment needed. Good thing the tray can be removed and rinsed under the tap. But now for the ultimate challenge, dried ketchup. On the first run, Q Revo just smeared it around. Second pass started to lift it. By the third, there were red streaks. Fourth, still not clean. No matter how hard it tried, the ketchup stain never fully came off. When it comes to tough stain removal, Roborock just can't match the competition. The Borg 830 we tested recently was way more convincing in the ketchup test. Still, for regular daily mopping, the Q Revo gets no complaints. Next, let's see how the station cleans the mop pads. After the coffee test, they looked nearly clean. That's the benefit of darker colored fibers. To soften the shock of what comes next, the station gives you a warning. Starting to rinse the mop pad. Then it sounds like a transformer buzzes, a toilet flushes, and a train pulls out of the station. What am I talking about? Just listen for yourself. That went on for 3.5 minutes. Not fast, but very effective. The pads came out looking brand new. I tried washing them in the sink, didn't improve them at all. They were already clean. After the juice test, the pads were stained orange. Deep inside the fibers, they were clean, but the tips stayed dirty. Park the robot, wait 210 seconds, and voila. The pads are gray again. Not perfectly clean, but noticeably better. Washing them in the sink helped a bit more, but only slightly. After the dirt test, the mop pads were unevenly dirty. The edges were really grimy, but the middle looked okay. The station managed pretty well. The pads looked deceptively clean, though a quick rinse with detergent revealed plenty more dirt. The pads don't make even contact with the floor. Ketchup proved that. The edges got stained while the center stayed pale. The self-cleaning definitely helped their appearance, but the orange tint remained. After a hand wash, they looked better, though some fibers stayed permanently stained. Maybe a washing machine could fix that, maybe not. For a dock that doesn't use detergent, the Q Revo's mop cleaning is surprisingly good. The secret isn't just in the long wash cycle, but also in the amount of water it uses. Each rinse consumes 8.5 ounces, whether in eco mode or not. And thankfully, water isn't scarce, and at least not here. I mean in terms of climate. Don't get weird on me. And no, don't start that debate in the comments. Funny thing, the same water usage glitch exists on the Roborock S7 Max Ultra. But the new S8 Pro Ultra gets it right. 10 ounces in max mode, 5 ounces in eco. The rinse happens at the start of cleaning and then at regular intervals. The station also tops off the robot's internal tank. If the robot returns to base every 100 square feet, it'll use up half the water tank to clean an 860 square foot apartment. I also tested the dryer function. It works really well. The mop pads were fully dry after 2 hours. Last thing to check, how well the station empties debris. Previous Roborock docks used a funnel-style port, which caused issues, especially on the Roborock S7 Plus. The Q Revo is the brand's first model with side discharge. Will that boost performance? Let's find out. First, we'll see how the station handles debris collected during field tests. The emptying cycle is standard, about 30 seconds. Noise level is relatively low, peaking at 73 decibels. As you can hear, Roborock worked on soundproofing here too. Thumbs up for that. Now, let's open the dustbin. It's completely empty. The internal bin is fairly compact. I had to tamp down the sunflower seeds to make them fit, but that didn't stop the station. The result was flawless. It also handled sand effortlessly. It's like it was never there. But with larger debris, it struggled. It only removed 80% of a grain mix. And cat litter? Even worse, at just 65%. Hair, though, no problem. Picked it all up. Overall, side discharge works more reliably than the funnel-style system. For common household messes, this station gets the job done easily. Final thoughts. The Roborock Q Revo is a successful, though not flawless, experiment from the brand. Navigation is identical to the Roborock Q8 Max. The 3D sensor still needs refining. The cleaning module, proven on the 7 series, performed great once again. Dry vacuuming is among the best you'll find in an all-in-one system. The mop pads handle light messes well, but don't press firmly enough to remove stains, and the robot doesn't mop along walls. But when it comes to self-cleaning the mop pads, this model is best in class. The dock washes them thoroughly, even without detergent. Another win, noise insulation. You can easily watch TV while the robot's working. Dream L10S Ultra falls behind Roborock in dry pickup and pad washing, but takes the lead in navigation and mopping quality. That's it for today. See you next time. Take care.